here, I need to click here, and we need to do this. Let's do this. Okay, I just learned that it's Wednesday. I actually thought it's way later in the week. It is Wednesday afternoon. It's coming up for 10 minutes before 3 on this lovely sunny day in Cape Town. So I tried to do a live this morning. I couldn't get too much done because I was actually busy at work. But nevertheless, pardon me. Hello, Laser. There's this whole story that broke with regards to Cristiano Ronaldo. His interview with Piers Morgan. And hello, Sally. There's so many things doing the rounds, so many memes doing the rounds with regards to Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course this interview that took place. Some of the key things that I remember on the interview, just stuff that I want to touch on this afternoon. I do think that Cristiano Ronaldo, being a player active at the club, has the right to speak out. And the stuff that he mentioned is stuff that you and I, as United supporters, has been discussing amongst ourselves. We've seen it in the media, and suddenly now that Ronaldo is mentioning these, he is being ousted. He is being made as he's the bad guy. My point, and this is my personal opinion, this is my feeling. So often that English players from England gets to do and say things as they please, and nobody really speaks out about it, and even irrespective of how bad they perform. Let's for example take Harry Maguire. He did bad for the last 2 years, but yet he's still being kept as the captain of the team. He still makes the team. Only time that he is not being played is when he has to sit out due to an injury. But that's my point. So many English players comes in and they do as they please. They underperform. Hello, basement. They underperform, and yet they still being put into the squad. Ronaldo, on the other hand, being the legend that he is, I said this morning, and I'm going to say it again. I don't think that we will ever get a player of Cristiano Ronaldo's caliber who for his age works as hard as he does. Yes, of course, as a United supporter, I was upset when he left our club more than 10 years ago. He then went to go play for other clubs, and he did brilliant over there. And even when he came back last year, he literally hit the ground running. I don't think there's a player who's got that kind of work ethic that he has, and I don't think we'll see it anytime soon. Yes, of course, there are young players coming through, such as the Haalands and those of today, but I don't think that they will probably play and have that longevity in their career as Cristiano Ronaldo has at the moment. You can always follow the Rainbow Radio Facebook page and get a copy of this as a podcast later on. As I'm sitting here, I'm actually doing a recording. I'm really hoping that everything works well. I'm not at home where I've got a podcast console, but I do have some sort of connectors and plugs where everything is just daisy chained together, and I really don't want to sit here doing this recording and by the end of it nothing has happened. Hello, Khadija. So I'm going to hope and see that everything works well together, and if it does play, I will definitely share it as a podcast for you guys later on. Was it yesterday? The day before? Yesterday was the 15th. On the 14th of November, we celebrated World Diabetes Day. Now, being a healthcare professional, diabetes is of course one of those chronic illnesses that's a real concern to me. Because I deal with patients who suffers from diabetes on a daily basis, and one thing that I can tell you is that so many patients suffer with this disease, and at times the patients sort of they get clueless as to how to go about in managing the disease effectively.
You're listening to Uthman Solomons, Realistic Rainbow Radio.
That is Susie. I just had to play her in there. Hello, Marvin. Marvin is joining us live on TikTok. So, as a pharmacist assistant, I see diabetics suffer with the disease. I see diabetics really doing and trying their utmost best in managing the condition, adapting their lifestyles, and of course doing what everybody says a diabetic should do, and that is exercise, right? So it always breaks my heart when hello Jerome, say a minute of the music of the background music, I think I was waiting for you to come on, because I've got music playing from one device playing into a connector and hoping that the audio sound comes out clear on this TikTok live, apart from the fact that I'm also at the same time recording the whole thing. I see there's another note coming up that the broadcast has been paused and now it's been resumed. But just let me know if you can hear the audio, please, my brother. I would appreciate it. So yeah, they say for diabetics it's important to manage their lifestyle. Manage their lifestyle. What does it entail? I think the most important thing for any diabetic is to start being able to monitor his or her blood glucose levels. That is of utmost important. I know that for a fact in our community, where patients doesn't have access to medical aid schemes, they need to rely on the day hospital or clinics when they do go for their checkups, and that's literally every 6 months, to be able to get their blood glucose monitored. I don't think it's fair. As a diabetic, and maybe there's one or two of you who's watching now, you will agree with me that the only way to be able to better manage your blood glucose or your diabetes is through regular monitoring. I've chatted to a customer or patient yesterday who needed test strips because he said a doctor was not happy with the fact that she tested a blood glucose level such a few times. She actually needs to test it more. Fahima Abrahams, good afternoon to you. So yeah, that is one thing. As a diabetic, if you know a diabetic, try and get the people to be able to test their blood glucose a lot more often, and try and get them to get the only way to do it is to have a machine at home. They can speak to their doctors, they can even speak to their local pharmacies. I know that some of the pharmaceutical reps actually comes around, drop off 2 or 3 blood glucose machines, and that can be handed out for free to patients. So I know there's some deal where they need to buy the test strips in order to get the machine for free. But I mean, if you're looking at the cost of the machines nowadays, we're talking anywhere between 280 to 320 rand. So if you just need to spend money on buying the pack of 50 test strips, which cost about 180 rand or 170 rand, you can get a full glucose machine absolutely free. But chat to your local pharmacist. They would be able to advise you on whether or not they've got stock, or go to the local GPs. Maybe some of them also might have some stock. Pardon me. The other thing that people always talk about, and this is probably not just for diabetics, but we're talking about in the context of diabetics, because we sort of had the World Diabetic Day on the 14th of this month. So exercise is very important. The exercise, obviously, make sure that you regulate your metabolism, and with that going on, you should be able to be able to get rid of the excess sugars in the body. So it's important for a diabetic to also exercise. More importantly, and this is probably the most important point, is that a diabetic should always have a balanced diet, making sure that what they take in is within acceptable ranges as far as the sugar is concerned. You know, the problem with diabetics obviously is the fact that the body does not have enough insulin to convert the sugars that is being taken up in meals and really get rid of it. So therefore they would go on either tablets or they would go on insulin, the injectables, and ask any diabetic, they would in all honesty try and make sure that they stay on the oral medication and be compliant with it, and in managing their condition, instead of having to move one step further where they need to now go on insulin injection. Yeah, that's just one thing that I wanted to touch on. What is the other thing that I thought of earlier today? So yeah, basically for this afternoon, it's just that whole Cristiano Ronaldo issue, and of course World Diabetes Day, which was on Thursday. This is obviously a live broadcast from I always like to call it our studios, but we don't have studios. We do not have studios. In fact, I'm trying to speak to a couple of people in getting a permanent building set up for us. At the moment as it is, hello Kutsia. At the moment as it is, when I do get home and I want to go live, I need to pack out all the equipment from tote bins and boxes, set that up, and then do a show. And then afterwards, because it happens in our dining room, I need to pick every single thing away again. It's cables, it's lights, what do you call this, ring lights, it is microphones, it is speakers. It's a tedious exercise. I'm tired of it. It just puts the idea of wanting to go on air on a back burner for a while, but then I need to sort of crack my mood by my car in order to do everything and really go on air. I actually want to test now and see whether or not the recording on the podcast that I'm recording actually recorded. So I'm gonna keep the live on, but I'm gonna stay. Let's continue with the recording. How do we do this? Yes, we do this. We still continuing. Remember, for Rainbow Radio, if there's anything you'd like to check out or chat to us about, you can always send us a message on the WhatsApp number. And this is a pre-recording that I did of our WhatsApp number, and I want to play it for you guys. Send your WhatsApp messages to the studio now on 084-9155-69. That's 084-9155-69.
Rainbow Radio.
This is Rainbow Radio. You can always find us on Facebook. The page, of course, is Realistic Rainbow Radio. And of course, if you haven't done so yet, follow us on TikTok at Rainbow Radio ZA. At Rainbow Radio ZA. Yeah, let's just cut that here and let's see what's happening.